Man is a spiritual being, not a creature of circumstance. He is not subject to the whims of lack or the illusion of limitation. He is born of God, and with that divine birthright comes access to all that is good, all that is abundant, all that is perfect. You are not meant to live in scarcity. You are not meant to dwell in fear of not having enough. That is a lie from the world of appearances, and the world of appearances has no authority over the world of spirit. You are created in the image and likeness of God, and God is infinite, overflowing supply. Divine supply is not something you beg for. Divine supply is something you command through your word, through your faith, and through your knowing. You speak it forth, and it comes. Just as God said, "Let there be light," and light was, you too must speak, "Let there be supply," and supply is. Too many people speak words of lack, and then wonder why lack multiplies. They say, "I can't afford that," and the law responds, "As you decree, so it shall be done." They say, "I never have enough," and the law echoes, "Then never enough you shall have." But the one who understands their spiritual authority speaks differently. They say, "Every bill is paid by divine right. Every need is met. I walk in a river of abundance. God is the unfailing source of my supply." They speak the word, and the word goes forth and does not return void. Supply does not come from the job. Supply does not come from the bank. Supply does not come from people. Those are only channels, but God is the source, infinite, limitless, eternal. When one channel dries up, do not fear. Rejoice, for the closing of one door means the opening of a better one. You do not lean on the broken reed of human reasoning, you rest in the everlasting arms. You do not chase money, money comes to you, drawn by the magnetic power of your faith. Say now, "I command the divine substance of the universe to flow into my life. I receive it in faith. I give thanks for it now. It is done." Your words are creative. Your words are divine decrees. Every word you speak is building your world or breaking it. Choose wisely. Speak wealth. Speak provision. Speak from the end result. You do not wait until you see it to believe it. You believe it, and then you see it. That is the law. That is the secret. You live from the spiritual realm, not the visible one. Every time you tithe, every time you give, you break the back of fear. You say to the universe, "I trust my source. I am not afraid." And the law responds with multiplication. Forgiving opens the way to receiving. Holding tight from fear blocks the flow. Say with authority, "I command every good thing that belongs to me by divine right to manifest now. I do not chase. I attract. I do not worry. I command in faith. My words are power. My words are law. My words are backed by heaven." You are not a beggar before God. You are a co-creator with God. You are a commander of divine substance. Heaven and earth respond to the one who knows who they are. Say aloud, "I now stand in the vibration of wealth. I am one with infinite supply. God's riches flow to me freely, endlessly, joyfully, and in perfect timing. What is mine by divine right can never be taken. I am the beloved of God. I walk in abundance. I command my divine supply, and it rushes to me now, pressed down, shaken together, and running over." Your word is your wand. It is not merely a collection of sounds or syllables. It is the divine tool with which you carve out your reality. What you speak, especially what you speak consistently and with conviction, becomes law in your world. Words have a vibratory power. When they are charged with faith and feeling, they become commands issued to the unseen forces of spirit, the substance of the universe, and they return to you fulfilled. There is no idle word in the spiritual realm. Every word is a seed, and what you plant, you will surely harvest. If you continually speak of lack, you are commanding lack. If you speak about how money is hard to come by, how nothing ever works out for you, how you always struggle, the spiritual law does not judge you, nor does it delay. It simply obeys. It delivers into your life more struggle, more delay, more frustration. The law is not cruel. It is precise. You receive not what you want, not what you hope for, not what you think occasionally, but what you speak as truth. When you say, I am broke, or I never have enough, or I can't afford it, you are not describing your situation. You are creating your situation. The universe takes your word and begins to manifest it into form. That is why it is said, life and death are in the power of the tongue. The words you speak are creative forces. They form molds in the invisible substance, and soon those molds are filled with matching circumstances. What you declare, especially with feeling, will appear. To command your divine supply, you must become conscious of your every utterance. You must become a spiritual watchman over your tongue. Every time you speak, you must ask yourself, am I building or breaking? Am I calling forth good or inviting delay? Am I declaring lack or summoning provision? Every word you speak is a decree sent out into the spiritual realm, and that decree returns to you with its own evidence. If you want to change your financial reality, the first place to begin is not in the bank account, but in the vocabulary. Your word is the first point of contact with the spiritual law of supply. Speak wealth, speak abundance, speak overflow. Even if your eyes show otherwise, even if your outer world contradicts your inner decree, speak it still. The visible is but the echo of the invisible. Change the sound and the echo must shift. You might say, but isn't it dishonest to say I am rich when I have nothing? No, it is not dishonest, it is faith. It is truth in the highest sense. Spiritual truth is not based on the physical facts. It is based on eternal principles. You are not lying when you say, I am rich. You are declaring your identity as a child of the Most High, whose storehouses are overflowing with good. You are aligning your word with divine law, and when you do, the law must work in your favor. To say, I am provided for, when you do not yet see the provision, is not denial. It is dominion. You are choosing to live from the unseen, to trust the spiritual realm more than the material one. That is the secret of manifestation. The invisible is the cause. The visible is the effect. Change the cause, and the effect must change. This is why affirmations are so powerful, not because they are magic, but because they are orders given to the creative law. When you affirm, God is my immediate and unlimited supply, you are commanding the substance of spirit to take shape in your world. You are not begging, you are not hoping, you are declaring. You are using your divine authority to speak your reality into being. The law is activated by faith-filled word. The clearer and more consistent your words, the faster the manifestation. But there is more. Your words must not only be affirmations of wealth, they must also be purified of every opposite. It does no good to affirm abundance for 5 minutes in the morning, and then spend the rest of the day complaining about prices, worrying over bills, or speaking of all the things you cannot afford. You cannot mix the old wine with the new. You must make your word consistent. The mouth that praises must not curse. The tongue that blesses must not fear. If you wish to command divine supply, you must speak only the language of faith. One reason why many people's affirmations do not seem to work is that they mix faith with fear, affirmation with contradiction. They say, I am wealthy, and 5 minutes later they say, I don't know how I'll make it. They say, money flows to me freely, and then they talk about how tight things are. These double-minded declarations cancel themselves out. The law becomes confused and cannot bring forth results. But when your word is firm, unwavering, and aligned with truth, the universe must respond. It has no choice. You must become, therefore, a faithful steward of your tongue. Guard it as you would guard your most precious treasure. Every time you are tempted to speak defeat, hold your peace. Every time you feel fear rise in your throat, replace it with truth. Say instead, my supply comes from God. I have more than enough. Divine substance now flows to me from every direction. The more you speak these words, the more they become your belief. The more they become your belief, the more they become your life. Even in the face of adversity, keep your word anchored in truth. When the bills come, say, every bill is paid by divine right, in perfect timing. When the bank balance is low, say, God is my source, channels open now, money comes to me under grace. When opportunities seem few, say, doors open for me. I walk in divine favor. What is mine finds me now. Speak not of the mountains, speak to it. Command it to move, and it will. The more you train your tongue to speak wealth, the more natural it becomes. In time, you will find that you no longer speak of lack, not because you are trying to be positive, but because lack is no longer a part of your consciousness. As your words change, so does your mind. And as your mind changes, so does your world. The law works by vibration. Words are vibrational tools. When you speak with conviction, you send out a frequency that calls back matching conditions. If you send out the frequency of abundance, abundance is what you will receive. If you send out the vibration of fear or worry, then more of what you fear will be drawn to you. You cannot fool the law. It does not respond to what you want. It responds to what you believe and what you speak. So take up your wand and speak, not from fear, not from desperation, but from authority. Know that your word is backed by the full power of spirit. When you say, I command my divine supply, say it with your whole being. Say it with the knowledge that you are not asking, you are declaring, you are not hoping, you are knowing, you are not guessing, you are commanding, and the law must obey. Never let your mouth be used as a channel for fear, for doubt, for limitation. Let your lips be sanctified by truth. Speak only that which you desire to see. Speak with boldness, with assurance, with gratitude. Let your every word be a tool of creation, and soon the world around you will reflect the power of the word within you. God is the only source. Channels may change, but supply is eternal. This is one of the greatest truths you can ever embrace. In a world that constantly shifts, where jobs come and go, where relationships fluctuate, and where economic systems rise and fall, there is only one unwavering, unlimited, unfailing source: God, Divine Mind, Infinite Spirit, the I Am. Whatever name you choose, the essence is the same. All good flows from the source, all provision, all health, all ideas, all success. Every visible thing has its origin in the invisible substance of God. Most people confuse the channel with the source. They look at their employer and say, "This is my provider." They look at a paycheck and say, "This is how I survive." They look to family members, government support, clients, or business partnerships, believing these external things are the cause of their sustenance. But these are not causes, they are effects. They are vessels through which divine supply flows, but they are not the wellspring themselves. The moment you make a channel your source, you place yourself into bondage. You live in fear, fear of loss, fear of rejection, fear of change. You become dependent on the outer world, and thus you give your power away. To walk in spiritual power and true provision, you must reverse the equation. You must look to God and God alone as your source. You must understand that your supply does not come from a job, it comes through a job. Your supply does not come from a person, it comes through a person. The flow is always spiritual first, then material. The invisible becomes the visible. If one channel closes, it does not mean supply is cut off. It only means that spirit has moved to a better channel. If one door shuts, it is only to redirect you to another, higher door. The source remains unchanged. When you internalize this, fear dissolves. You no longer panic when a client leaves, when an account closes, when a job ends, or when a season shifts. You do not cling desperately to old forms. You bless the channel that served you, and you release it with faith, knowing that your real supply is not limited to that form. You live in expectancy. You affirm, God is my source. Channels may change, but God never fails. You keep your eye on the cause, not the effect. This is why trust is essential in the spiritual life. You are not trusting the economy. You are not trusting in business trends, politics, or even logic. You are trusting in the infinite intelligence that governs the universe, the same intelligence that causes the sun to rise, the seasons to turn, the cells in your body to regenerate, and the birds to find food without worry or toil. This same divine order governs your life. You do not have to force, push, beg, or hustle. You have to align. You have to trust that what you need is already prepared and will be revealed at the right time through the right means. Channels are many. Source is one. When you limit yourself to one channel, you restrict the flow. When you fixate on a single income stream, a particular person, or a narrow path, you cut off other possibilities. But when you declare, I am open to unlimited channels of supply, God works in ways I cannot see, you open the floodgates, unexpected income comes, new opportunities appear, resources arrive from places you never imagined. Why? Because you removed the limitations you previously imposed. The law of divine supply is abundant by nature. There is no lack in the spiritual realm. It is overflowing with substance, constantly moving, always seeking channels through which it can express. The only limitation is the one we set with our beliefs. If you believe supply is scarce, hard to find, or conditional upon your effort, you restrict the flow. But when you believe that your supply is guaranteed, that it flows from an infinite source, and that you are worthy of receiving it, the law is activated in your favor. God's supply is not dependent on how hard you work, how long you struggle, or how much you sacrifice. It is not given because of effort. It is received through alignment. That alignment happens when you know that your needs are already met in spirit, and you act from that knowing. You do not wait until you see provision to feel secure. You feel secure, and the provision comes. You do not wait until the money appears to feel grateful. You feel grateful, and the money appears. You do not wait until the door opens to move in faith. You move in faith, and the door opens. People often say, how can I trust God when I can't see what's coming? But that is the very definition of faith. Faith does not need evidence. It creates evidence. It sees the unseen, and because it sees it, it brings it into form. Faith says, I know my good is here now. I know God is my source. I know all things are working for me, even when I don't see how. Faith is not passive. It is active, dynamic, commanding. It does not wish it knows. If you find yourself in a season where a former channel has dried up, do not despair. That channel was never your true source. If the brook dries up, it only means you are being directed to a new spring. Say aloud, this is not my source. God is my source. I am never without. I am never abandoned. I am never left out. My supply is secure. My source is eternal. Let these words be your shield and sword. Sometimes the loss of a channel is the greatest blessing in disguise. As long as you are attached to a limited source, the universe cannot deliver the greater one. You must be willing to release the familiar, to make room for the miraculous. You must be willing to trust the invisible more than the visible. You must be willing to say, even though I walk through the valley, I fear no evil, for thou art with me. That is the power of true security, not in what you have, but in what you know. Divine supply is deeply personal. God knows your needs before you ask. God knows your desires before you articulate them. There are ideas waiting to be revealed to you, answers waiting to unfold, and pathways waiting to open. You are never truly stuck. You are never forgotten. You are never overlooked. You are simply being prepared. The moment you recognize God as your source and release your dependence on man, you will see the shift. Practice daily declaring, God is the source of all my good. I trust not in man, not in money, not in material appearances, but in God, the unfailing source of my life. Let this truth become the foundation of your consciousness. Walk through your day as if your provision is guaranteed. Speak as if you already have. Think from abundance, not toward it. When you do this, you match the vibration of supply, and what is yours by divine right rushes to meet you. Do not allow fear to shrink your vision. Do not let a temporary change in income or status make you forget who you are and whose you are. Fear always focuses on the channel. Faith always focuses on the source. Where fear says, "What if the money doesn't come?" Faith says, "God never fails." Where fear says, "What if this job ends?" Faith says, "New doors open to me now." Where fear says, "How will I make it?" Faith says, "I already have all I need in the invisible." You are not a victim of the world. You are a vessel for divine supply. You are a living conduit through which God's abundance flows. You are not here to struggle or scrape by. You are here to reflect the fullness of divine life, and that life is never in lack. It is abundant, opulent, overflowing. It knows no scarcity. It has no limits. It is always more than enough. Say often, "The channels may change, but the source remains the same. I trust the process. I welcome new streams. I celebrate divine surprises. I give thanks for the infinite ways my good can reach me." Let this be the rhythm of your speech. Let it be the song of your heart. When you look to God as your source, nothing can shake you. Not recessions, not endings, not delays. Because you know the truth. God is your supply, and that supply never fails. Faith is the magnet. What you boldly expect, you attract. There is no law stronger, no force more magnetic in the spiritual universe than unwavering expectation. Faith is not mere hope, and it is not blind optimism. Faith is the absolute conviction that what is not yet visible is already real. It is the inner knowing that moves mountains, parts seas, and multiplies loaves. Faith is the divine currency with which all things are purchased from the storehouse of the unseen. Without it, there is no spiritual transaction. With it, nothing is withheld. Your faith is not only belief, it is a mold. It shapes the invisible substance of spirit into visible form. What you consistently expect in faith must eventually appear in your life. The expectation held in your heart, whether positive or negative, is the decree you've made to the universal law of manifestation. The law does not judge, it simply responds. If you expect lack, lack will be magnetized to you. If you expect struggle, delay, or rejection, these conditions will attach themselves to your path. But when you expect good, when you expect miracles, when you walk in the atmosphere of certainty, all that is good is drawn to you like iron to a lodestone. There is no such thing as passive faith. Faith that is real is alive. It moves you. It inspires you. It speaks through your words, acts through your hands, and directs your choices. Faith doesn't sit and wait. It moves with confidence, knowing that provision walks beside it. It makes declarations before there is evidence. It sings praises while still in the valley. It builds the ark before the first drop of rain. Faith prepares the way. It gets ready in expectation of what is coming. And that preparation itself is a statement of trust. Many people believe in God, but few walk in true faith. To believe in the existence of God is one thing. To believe in God's personal provision, direction, and presence in your life, now, in this very moment, is quite another. True faith speaks in the present tense. It does not say, "Someday, I will be provided for." It says, "My supply is here now." It does not say, "Maybe it will happen." It says, "It is already done." Faith is not swayed by appearances, nor is it moved by delays. It stands still and sees the salvation of the Lord. To attract your divine supply, you must become a vibrational match to that which you seek. That means living in the state of already having, not hoping to have. It means speaking with the tone of assurance, not desperation. Your energy speaks louder than your words. If your words affirm abundance, but your heart is filled with anxiety, doubt, and fear, the universe responds to the dominant vibration. Faith must become your atmosphere. It must surround your thoughts, your words, your choices. Only then does it become the magnetic force that draws your supply. The law is precise. It mirrors back to you the exact state of your inner world. If you are expecting just enough, you will receive just enough. If you are expecting delays, you will encounter them. If you are constantly preparing for things to go wrong, the law has no choice but to accommodate you. But when you boldly expect good, when you dare to believe in divine timing, perfect unfolding, and unexpected blessings, the whole universe rearranges itself to match that frequency. The doors swing open. The right people appear. The resources show up. Why? Because you believed without evidence. This is not mere mental positive thinking. It is spiritual alignment. You are not trying to force reality to bend to your will. You are stepping into the already existing flow of divine abundance. The supply is already there. The channels are already set. The ideas are already prepared. You are not creating your good out of nothing. You are drawing it from the invisible storehouse of spirit, where all things exist in potential. Faith is the key that unlocks that storehouse. Bold expectation is the magnet that pulls that good into view. There is a difference between wishing and expecting. Wishing says, "Wouldn't it be nice if?" Expecting says, "Of course it's coming. I'm ready for it." Wishing is weak, uncertain, and powerless. Expectation, on the other hand, is rooted in divine law. It is faith with intention. It is the confident assumption that what is yours by divine right is on the way now. It does not pace the floor in anxiety. It prepares the room. It sets the table. It clears the path. Many people block their supply because they do not truly expect it. They say the right words, but their heart still clings to doubt. They affirm abundance, but prepare for disappointment. They speak of increase, but expect just enough. The law listens not to what you say in moments of spiritual ritual. It listens to what you believe consistently. What you feel in your bones, what you see with your inner eye, what you prepare for, that is the true prayer. The subconscious mind is the soil. It will grow whatever seed is planted and watered. If you water it with fear, worry, and complaint, it will yield a harvest of struggle. But if you nourish it with expectancy, gratitude, and joy, it will produce a crop of blessings. Faith is the water. Faith is the sunlight. Faith is the signal that tells the soil, now is the time to grow. You do not need to know how the seed becomes the tree. You simply expect the tree, and the law takes care of the rest. Bold expectation is not arrogance. It is humility before divine law. It is the recognition that you are not the originator of supply, but the receiver of it. It is the choice to stand in the reality of God's unlimited goodness and claim your portion. It is not selfish to expect abundance. It is spiritual maturity. You are never meant to live in lack. You are never meant to scrape by. You are designed to express the richness of God's nature in every area of your life. Supply is your birthright, but it must be claimed through faith. When you walk in bold expectation, everything about you changes. Your posture changes, your speech changes, your decisions change. You no longer chase opportunities chase you. You no longer plead, you command. You no longer apologize for wanting more. You know that more is your inheritance. You move with certainty, and that certainty creates the conditions for your good to appear. Gratitude is the companion of faith. The one who truly expects does not wait to say thank you. They give thanks before the manifestation. They praise in advance. They celebrate while the good is still invisible. This is the highest form of faith, to rejoice before you see. It is the declaration that what you have spoken is already done. Gratitude seals the manifestation. It locks the vibration into place. It removes resistance. It proves to the universe that you are ready. You must become intimate with the feeling of already having. Take time each day to sit in silence and feel what it is like to already possess your desire. Imagine what it feels like to be completely provided for. See yourself walking through life with ease. Hear the sound of peace in your thoughts. Smell the scent of victory. Touch the reality of success. Speak from that place. Act from that place. Think from that place. And most importantly, expect from that place. When your inner world is saturated with that frequency, the outer world has no choice but to comply. Say often, I expect miracles. I expect provision. I expect open doors. I expect favor. I expect increase. I expect divine timing. I expect unexpected blessings. Let these words become your daily rhythm. Let them override every whisper of doubt. Let them echo louder than the noise of the world. Your words are the instruction to the law. Your faith is the magnet. Your expectation is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. In the realm of spirit, what you boldly expect, you do not chase. You attract. The law is impersonal, unbreakable, and precise. You are not waiting for your supply to be created. You are waiting for your vibration to become a match. Faith is the tuning fork. Expectation is the alignment. When you walk by faith and not by sight, you become the magnet for every good and perfect gift that is already yours. Giving unlocks receiving. Fear closes, trust opens. This is one of the most powerful spiritual principles you can ever come to know, and one of the most often resisted. To the carnal mind, it makes no sense. How can you increase by releasing? How can you gain by giving away? How can the act of letting go bring more to you? But in the realm of spirit, where divine laws operate far above human logic, giving is the master key that opens the doors of abundance. It is the invisible act that proves your faith, demonstrates your trust, and places you in alignment with the infinite circulation of good. In the spiritual realm, nothing is stagnant, all is motion. All is flow. Life itself is a continual cycle of giving and receiving, inhaling and exhaling, sowing and reaping. When you interrupt the flow by hoarding, withholding, or clinging in fear, you block the circulation of divine supply. But when you give with trust, when you give joyfully, when you give freely and without fear, you become a vessel through which Spirit pours even greater blessings. It is not about the amount, it is about the energy, the faith, and the consciousness with which you give. Fear says, hold on to what you have, you might need it later. Trust says, I can never run out because God is my source. Fear counts coins. Trust counts on God. Fear tries to survive. Trust expects to thrive. The one who gives in fear gives with anxiety, calculating whether they can afford to let go. The one who gives in trust gives with peace, knowing that what they give returns multiplied. The universe cannot give to the one who clenches their fist. It can only give to the one whose hands are open. Giving proves that you are not dependent on the world. It proves that you know your supply comes from a higher source. It proves that you are not owned by money, but that money is your servant, not your master. Every act of giving breaks the grip of fear and proves to the law of supply that you are a clear, open, trustworthy channel. When you withhold out of fear, you affirm lack. But when you give in faith, you affirm abundance. The energy of your giving determines the energy of your receiving. Some give mechanically, out of duty, obligation, or guilt. But this is not spiritual giving. Spiritual giving is done with joy, with expectancy, and with faith. It is a sacred act. It is a statement to the universe, I trust you. I release this knowing that something greater is on its way to me. Every time you give with this consciousness, you activate the law of return. You set in motion a cycle of increase. What you send out must return to you, often through unexpected channels, and always multiplied. Many people wonder why their prayers for abundance go unanswered, not realizing that their lack of generosity is the very dam blocking the flow. They say, when I have more, then I'll give. But that is not how the law works. You must give first. Even if it is little, you must take the first step in trust. You must release what you have and allow the vacuum to be filled. Nature abhors a vacuum. When you empty your hands, the universe rushes in to fill them. But if your hands are already full, clenched in fear, nothing new can be given. Giving is not just financial, it is energy. You can give time, love, encouragement, talent, service, attention. Every time you pour yourself into others from a place of truth and love, you are planting seeds, and those seeds must grow. The law is unfailing. The harvest always comes. It may not come from the direction you gave into. It may not come when you expect, but it will come. No act of spiritual generosity ever goes unnoticed or unrewarded. The universe keeps perfect records. Tithing is a spiritual practice that symbolizes this principle. It is not a religious rule. It is a universal law. When you take a portion of your income and return it to the source in the form of spiritual service, charitable work, or ministries that feed your soul, you are saying to the universe, I recognize the true source of my supply. That act of acknowledgement triggers more supply. It places you into divine circulation. You are no longer operating by the world's economy. You are moving in heaven's economy, and heaven's economy never crashes. But even outside of tithing, every act of giving must be done from consciousness. If you give in fear, resentment, or reluctance, the energy is distorted. If you give joyfully, the energy is magnetic. Joy is the signal to the universe that you are aligned, and what you give with joy will return to you in joy. What you give with fear may return to you in confusion. That is why it is said, God loves a cheerful giver, not because the gift is needed, but because the joy proves trust. Giving also affirms that you are already in abundance. You do not give from lack, you give from overflow. You are not giving to earn something from God. You are giving because you know that you already have access to all you need. Giving trains your subconscious to stop identifying with lack and start identifying with supply. It shifts your vibration from limitation to circulation. The moment you give, you send a signal. I am rich enough to share. I am blessed enough to bless. I am overflowing. There are times when the Spirit will prompt you to give something specific, and your human mind will protest. It will say, but I need that, or what if I don't have enough? This is the test of trust. When you obey that inner prompting and release what you're guided to release, you will always find that the return is greater. Spirit never takes from you without the intention to give more to you. The act of surrender opens you to miracles. What you think you are losing, you are only exchanging for something better. Giving also expands your capacity to receive. When you give, you are not just blessing others. You are stretching your own soul. You are making room. You are enlarging your inner container, and the law fills containers. It fills cups that are raised in expectation. When you withhold, your container shrinks. When you give, your container grows, and a bigger container always receives more. You cannot give the source. No matter how much you give, the law of increase will ensure that more is returned to you. This is not a transaction. It is a transformation. You are being shaped into the image of the giver. You are becoming a channel for divine wealth, a vessel through which Spirit can bless others. And the more you prove that you can handle the flow, the more you are entrusted with. Increase always follows stewardship. There is also healing in giving. When you give from a pure heart, you dissolve bitterness, you silence selfishness, you calm the ego, you open your soul, you rise above the consciousness of mine, and enter the higher realm of ours. You recognize that you are part of the whole, not separate from it, and in that realization, you stop trying to hoard and start trusting the flow. Sometimes, people give and then anxiously wait for the return. This creates resistance. Give, and let it go. Release it to the law. Trust the process. Detach from how and when it comes back. It may come as money. It may come as opportunity. It may come as protection, healing, favor, or grace. The form is not your concern. The principle is what matters. And the principle is always working. Affirm daily, I give freely and fearlessly, knowing that what I release returns to me multiplied. I am a channel of divine wealth. I live in circulation, not limitation. I trust the flow of life. I give in joy, and I receive in joy. My hands are open, and my supply is unlimited. Speak these words often. Let them replace every old belief of loss or sacrifice. Let them become your reality. As you begin to live in the spirit of giving, you will notice shifts, not just in your finances, but in your emotions, your relationships, your sense of safety. You will feel supported by life. You will trust the timing of things. You will release the grip of fear and step into the rhythm of grace, because giving proves trust, and trust opens the way to miracles. What is yours by divine right cannot be denied. Command it with authority. There is a divine order, a spiritual structure beneath all visible life. It is not chaos that governs the universe, it is divine law. And that law does not forget, does not fail, does not make mistakes. What is truly yours, what has been appointed to you by divine right, already exists in the invisible realm and is simply waiting for you to claim it. There is no competition for what is yours. There is no power that can steal what is yours. There is no force that can override the decree of the divine when you stand in your spiritual authority. In the invisible realm, everything already exists in completed form. Supply, success, health, relationships, purpose. None of it is created by you. It is revealed to you when you align with it. What is yours by divine right has your name on it. It matches your vibration. It belongs to your spiritual identity. It does not need to be chased, earned, or begged for. It simply needs to be claimed, declared, and received. This is the essence of spiritual living, not to work harder in the outer world, but to become more aligned in the inner world. The moment you recognize that what is yours cannot be taken or delayed, you release struggle, you stop striving, you begin commanding. Commanding is not arrogance, it is not force, it is divine confidence. It is knowing that you are a co-creator with spirit. It is the understanding that your words carry power, your declarations carry weight, and your spiritual authority moves unseen forces. When you speak from faith, from alignment, from deep inner knowing, your words are not empty. They are creative. They are instructions to the law. They go forth and prepare the way. You are not demanding from ego. You are commanding from truth. You are not manipulating reality. You are cooperating with it. To command something by divine right is to speak it into expression with full conviction. It is to say, "This is mine by spiritual law. This belongs to me, and I call it forth now." There is no room for doubt in that kind of prayer. There is no pleading. There is no wishing. There is only clarity and certainty. This is not the voice of desperation. It is the voice of dominion, and dominion is your birthright. You are not created to live beneath your inheritance. You were created to express the fullness of God in every area of your life. People often wonder, why is it not happening for me? Why is it taking so long? But delay is not denial. Many times the manifestation is not delayed by the universe. It is delayed by the lack of spiritual command. The person has not stood in their authority. They have not yet fully believed that what they desire is already theirs. They are still approaching the throne of life as a beggar instead of as a child of God. They are still asking when they should be declaring. They are still hoping when they should be knowing. They are still looking outward instead of speaking inward. Divine right is based on alignment, not merit. It is not about whether you've worked enough, prayed enough, or suffered enough. It is about whether you have stepped into the vibration that matches your good. Spiritual law is no respecter of persons. It responds to consciousness. It does not give according to effort. It gives according to alignment. When your thoughts, feelings, and words are aligned with your true identity in spirit, nothing can stop the flow. What is yours comes, not through effort, but through energetic permission. When you command your divine right, you must do so from a clean and clear consciousness. You cannot declare abundance while secretly believing in lack. You cannot call forth love while still feeling unworthy. You cannot speak success while rehearsing failure. Your inner world must be in agreement with your outer declaration. That is why spiritual preparation matters. You must renew the mind, cleanse the emotional field, and align your vibration. The clearer you are inside, the more quickly the outer conditions conform. You do not need to fight for what is yours. You only need to accept it. You only need to stand on truth long enough for the outer world to reflect it. And when you stand in truth, everything unlike truth must fall away. The world cannot withhold from the one who commands in spiritual authority. The world must yield to the word. This is why it is written that even mountains move when faith is spoken. Because spiritual law does not resist command, it fulfills it. What does it mean to claim something by divine right? It means to know that it is yours without question. It means to walk toward it with expectancy. It means to live as if it is already done. You do not need to beg God for what is already yours. You only need to say yes to it. You only need to step into it. You only need to prepare for it, speak it, welcome it. You are not an outsider hoping to be noticed. You are an heir stepping into your inheritance. The challenge is often not in receiving, but in believing. Most people do not have a receiving problem. They have a believing problem. They do not really believe they deserve the good they desire, or they believe it will come eventually, someday, in some distant future. But what you believe about your good determines how it comes to you. If you believe it's far away, it will stay far away. If you believe it's difficult, it will come with difficulty. But if you believe it is already yours, and you claim it, it begins to rush toward you. The universe operates by vibration, and divine right is activated through resonance. When you resonate with what is truly yours, you draw it to you. That resonance is created through clarity, faith, and speech. Say often, what is mine by divine right is now appearing. I do not chase it. I do not force it. I welcome it. I prepare for it. I accept it, and I command it to manifest now. Let your word become law. Let your decree become your vibration. Let your knowing become your receiving. There is no need to compare yourself to others. What is yours is not threatened by what others have. Their blessings do not diminish your own. Their success does not cancel your promise. In divine law, there is no competition. There is only alignment. And once you are aligned with your truth, nothing and no one can take what belongs to you. You do not have to fight for position, permission, or recognition. You are already chosen. You are already approved. You are already appointed. What is yours by divine right will not pass you by. It may be delayed by your disbelief, but it will never be denied by spiritual law. You do not need to chase the thing. You need to become the version of you who already has it. This is not about striving. It is about embodiment. When you embody your truth, the outer world must shift. The person who walks in the embodiment of their abundance cannot be poor. The person who walks in the embodiment of their love cannot be alone. The person who walks in the embodiment of their calling cannot be confused. The outer is the echo of the inner. Spiritual authority is not about volume or force. It is about stillness and certainty. You can whisper and move mountains if your whisper carries conviction. You can speak gently and command the heavens if your word is aligned. The power is not in the noise, it is in the knowing. Do you know that what you desire is already yours? Do you know that what you have seen in the spirit is waiting for your yes? Do you know that what is yours is not based on the opinions of others or the conditions of the world? Begin to walk in your authority. Begin to speak as one who is already in possession. Begin to live from your end result. Declare your truth daily. Let the law know that you are no longer asking, you are commanding. Let the universe know that you are no longer trying, you are choosing. Let your vibration become one of certainty, not hesitation. Let your posture become one of reception, not resistance. Every morning, wake up and declare, what is mine by divine right now appears. No person can block it. No condition can delay it. No fear can cancel it. I walk in alignment. I speak with authority. I receive in faith. Make this your way of life. Make it your inner rhythm. Let no outer event pull you out of your knowing. Let no delay shake your conviction. Let no appearance distract you from your spiritual inheritance. Everything that is yours is already prepared. Everything you need is already given. Everything you long for already exists in spirit. The moment you claim it by divine right, it begins to move toward you. The moment you command it with authority, it begins to take form. The moment you embody it in vibration, it becomes yours in manifestation. The law cannot deny you what you accept in truth. The universe cannot withhold what you command in faith. The world cannot resist the one who walks in alignment with divine right.